Yeah, all right. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is a an expose on the one of the greatest mass murderers that I've ever seen, and I'm sorry to say this is a direct familial relation. I remember this person and I share the same grandmother, and we are of course talking about this person here, Michelle Marie Dow. So Michelle Dow is she went to medical school. I don't know if she's a doctor, but this person is a murderer, a murderess is the correct term here, a murderess, and she's killed a number of different people. Right, and if you're saying what I can't believe it, well, neither could I until I saw the facts. All right, and the facts will speak for themselves. So we'll talk about that in this channel here, and we're going to expose this person for the absolute psychopath. It goes beyond medical neglect. It goes beyond just ethics violation. This is direct and cold-blooded murder. She lives in a big house, big brick house, but and she's gonna get away with it. I mean, there's no question. She's the I did file a formal complaint, and we will see that. I did file a formal complaint with the College of Physicians and Surgeons, but this kind of thing is designed to protect these people. So there's not going to be any accountability here. For now, but there is a judgment at the end of one's life, and she's certainly going to have a lot of explaining to do. But I mean, you can't you can't kill that many people and get away with it. This is certainly one of the most wicked people that I've ever imagined to ever exist. And this is beyond the Ted Bundys and the Richard Ramirez and all those guys. I mean, this is beyond, right? This is into the thousands of people that this person has killed. I'm not joking. I mean, this is a serious topic of conversation with the, so let's talk about the Clare Health Center here for a minute. All right, where does she work? Actually, she's the medical director for this kind of place here. So the Clare Health Center, right? This is it seems like a innocent enough building here, or is it, right? So we're going to talk about that today. We are not going to talk about Maid, which is really dodgy. All the we're not even going to talk about that. Medical abortions. I think anybody that has any kind of any kind of reasonable and just and a moral person will conclude that medical abortions is a serious violation of the right to life, and it is certainly murder. And now gender affirming care. Well, that it always has to do with fertility. I mean, they're always screwing around with fertility, but we're not going to talk about that. What we are going to talk about here is the most devastating, and it really is. Um, Now, IUD. Now, IUD, what is IUD? Well, we'll talk about that. All right, so what is IUD? Now, an IUD or any kind of hormonal birth control, well, what is it, right? It's the idea that we can put this kind of device and it will basically, let's see, does it prevent ovulation? Wow. Does it prevent the sperm from, meeting with the egg? And does it prevent a baby from actually coming into the world? And the answer is no. I mean, this is no. So how does it work? So a copper IUD prevents pregnancy by releasing copper into the uterus, which prevents sperm from fertilizing an egg. Okay, so there is a prevention there. All right, so that is, and I'm not saying that all of the, and I don't think anybody will suggest that all of the birth control methods, hormonal birth control pills will result in this baby being formed. We're not going to call it a blastocyst. We're not going to call it a fetus or anything. We're just going to call it what it is. It's a truly formed, viable baby with the potential for, a long and fulfilling life, right? And that has been cut short because of this here. Now, hormonal IUD prevents pregnancy by thickening cervical mucus, thinning the uterine lining, and sometimes stopping ovulation. Sometimes, right? Sometimes, not all the time. But it is highly effective at preventing pregnancy, and that is true. However, the problem is that it does not actually prevent the pregnancy. It actually just kills a newborn baby. In the stage, what stage? Well, any stage. It doesn't really matter what stage, but it does prevent the baby from uh, from from growing into the womb of the mother, which is a highly it's a beyond a this is beyond the horror of this is a thousand nightmares. This is the stuff of a thousand nightmares, and it's real, and people don't really get it for some reason. Anyway, so I filed a formal complaint regarding the doctor's prescription of birth control, which directly contributed to the loss of my child. Right, so I did file a formal complaint with the Clare Health Center. So this prescription altered the endometrial lining, preventing implantation, and although fertilization had already occurred, and this resulted in the death of my child, who carried 50% of my DNA, so making me a rightful complainant. So I am right to complain here. This is certainly a valid complaint. Yeah, and so anyway, the flaw justification for dismissal. So anyway, this is what she basically she says. I know this, and I don't care, and go away, f off. Basically, that's what she said. How did she say it? She said, no. So instead of addressing the complainant's the complaint's substance. Sorry. So what did the complaint say? Instead of actually addressing that, the response dismissed it on a technicality, claiming that I had no grounds because I wasn't the direct recipient of the prescription, which is absolutely just there's a flaw in morality there. It's just this reasoning is absurd. A father has just as much a stake in a child's life, and the fact that the prescription was given to the mother does not erase my role or the child's existence, right? So for some reason the child didn't exist, or I don't have a role in complaining. It's just a clear evasion tactic. Dismissing the entire complaint without actually addressing the ethics or consequences of the prescription, and nobody actually will disagree. Nobody's going to disagree, right? That's the thing. Nobody's going to disagree that it kills the newly formed baby. Right? There's nobody that will disagree, but people just don't know it. Right? That's the thing. People don't know it. All right. So the cowardice, it's just absolute cowardice. Right? So the doctor and the health center refused to schedule private mediation even after being given multiple opportunities, I gave him 3 opportunities. Their refusal shows that they do not want to face real scrutiny or answer for their actions. This is not a misunderstanding. It's a deliberate attempt to shut down any discussions and avoid accountability. So, I mean, what do you think a psychopathic mass murderer would do? Of course, they wouldn't say, yeah, I admit to being, a crazy killer, but she is. She absolutely is. This is a really, really nasty, wicked person, and I'm ashamed to say that this is a member of my family. I mean, this is really, really nasty stuff. All right, so the larger implication of the dismissal. So, if a father's complaint about the wrongful death of his child can be easily dismissed, it can be dismissed this easily, then how many other similar cases are ignored? This reflects a systematic failure where doctors can prescribe life-ending drugs and escape all responsibility. It reveals the medical system's bias against acknowledging life at fertilization, which serves the interests of birth control manufacturers and protects doctors from liability, which is this whole idea about the idea that life does not begin at fertilization; it begins at implantation in the uterus. It's just not even based in any kind of logic or medical science at all. It's just based in policy and all this stuff because they wanted to get these. I don't know. Do they want to lower the population? Well, I mean, this kind of thing killed a lot of people. I mean, these babies are people. I mean, so they're 6 days old or whatever. Is that less of a person? Well, certainly not. But in these wicked people's say so, they believe they can just kill them. They kill anybody, as you can see. They're medically assisting people to die. So I mean, where does the snowball end here? It's quite a scary thing. All right, so the betrayal of the medical establishment. So I did make a formal complaint to the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Nova Scotia, but we all know what's going to happen, right? They exist to regulate doctors, but in reality, it functions to shield them from accountability. We all know that. I mean, this is just the only reason that I made a complaint is to get a refusal or a a denial or whatever, my complaint will be summarily dismissed based on this kind of false science. And then I'm gonna appeal, and then my appeal will be, dismissed. But at least I'll have all this paperwork to prove to prove beyond any doubt at all that these people are, psychopaths, absolute evil psychopaths that are in a position of trust in our wacky society here that has become. All right, so if the college dismisses my complaint as fully expected, it will prove that their system is built to protect doctors first, not patients or the doctor the baby that was killed, or the truth. This is not just about me; it's about the system designed to dismiss an inconvenient complaint rather than confront medical malpractice. And it is. It's not only medical malpractice. I mean, this is just straight up debauchery. I mean, what good? I mean, she's there playing Jesus and God. I mean, this kind of thing is really naughty. This kind of thing is really naughty. So again, let's just recap. What are we doing here? What are we doing? We are not preventing the baby from being conceived, right? The baby is conceived, right? This is a fully viable baby, okay? This kind of birth control here this is a baby. It's a baby, 100%, 100%. This could have been, the president of a country or some guy, or, a very wonderful wife to a husband, or it could be, a grandfather of a nation. Who is this baby that is just, thrown away literally into the toilet. Into the toilet. I mean, I can't even imagine I can't even imagine the words that I'm saying. Thank goodness it is recorded for future generations to see. In 2000, we are in the year 2025, and I did make this complaint in the year 2025, and it was summarily dismissed. Hopefully, future generations will be able to see this video and see how the system is. Now, honor. Let's talk about the honor. Okay, so the honor. She's dishonorable for sure. Dishonorable. This is a dishonorable response. The response was that, and I can quote it. I'll just quote it. All right, and here's the direct quote here. All right, so this was an assistant manager, and this is and this is somebody who's not indirectly. I mean, this is an indirect association to this kind of thing. So I am going to name them. She. Oh, sorry, not them. It's she. She. I mean, this kind of pronoun nonsense. I mean, what kind of what kind of day and age are we living in anyway? But let's read this right. So. Dr. Dow has taken your concern into consideration, and it has been concluded that Dr. Dow never prescribed any form of birth control to yourself, and we will consider this issue resolved on our end. All right, so that's absurd. Of course, that's an absurd answer, and of course, that is just basically a summary dismissal of the complaint. And I did file a I wanted a direct confrontation, but I mean that's just what kind of the kind of people that they are. All right, so they will never be accountable in this day and age here, but they certainly, this kind of evil does not go unpunished. Believe me, this kind of evil does not go unpunished. All right, so let's continue. All right, so the doctor who prescribed this, Dr. Dow here, prescribed this medication is a coward for refusing to address the real issue. If one is intellectually honest, it is difficult not to call her a murderess for what she has done. Oh, for sure, murderess. I mean, it's just the worst possible crime that there is in our society. It's just a crime. It's just I mean, my kid would have been 10 years old right now. I mean, I would have had this beautiful child, 10 years old child, and this child is not here. I mean, it's quite egregious, right? A doctor's first duty, if a doctor's first duty is to do no harm, yeah, she prescribed a drug that led to a child's death, and now she refuses to take responsibility. Of course, she's going to refuse, because that's the kind of psychopathic mass murderer that she is. All right, so the need for public awareness and action, well, maybe, but it's just, is it going to happen? Well, maybe or maybe not. So that is our our video for I'm a teacher, that's why I said class, but I got to go. Maybe we'll do another video later. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.